Definitely could show up on your quiz. I mean, I'm just going to say we are 100% on this. Okay, 100% on this. Quiz on Tuesday, 100%. You're going to have problems like these. Test, 100%. So, 3 consecutive integers. Notice the word even's not in there, the word's odd not in there. The first thing I do is I write my expressions for all 3. X, x plus 1, x plus 2. So that I can use it. So now I'm going to use it. 3 times the smallest. Well, that's the smallest. There's 3 times the smallest. Is an equal sign. 28 more than means add 28. What do I add 28 to? The sum of the middle and the largest. The middle and the largest. So y'all, this is what your equation should have looked like right there. 3 times the smallest is 28 more than the sum of the middle and the largest. Then we combine like terms. Then it's really 2 steps. Subtract 2x on both sides to get my x's together. So I get a 31. Don't forget there's 3 of them. So I got 31. I add 1, I get 32. I add 1, I get 33. Okay, y'all, this right here is very important. Students are really good at this, and they're so good at it that they just try to do it all the time. And y'all, you got to realize these are not the same problems. There is a plus sign in between those parentheses. Y'all, you don't even need the parentheses. I mean, it's combining like terms. That's all it is. It's combining like terms. So 6x and 3x is 9x. 5 and negative 8 is negative 3. Okay, this does not have an addition symbol in between the parentheses, so that means this is a multiplication problem. It's 2 by 2, so I need a 2 by 2 box. And then I simplify, I combine like terms here, because these terms are alike, and my answer is 18x squared minus 33x minus 40. I noticed some of y'all on your exit tickets are writing these out of order. There's nothing wrong with that. It's still correct. But what you need to know is on a standardized test, they're going to have them written in order. They're going to start at the highest power, and they're going to go down. Okay? Okay, so kind of like my hint that I gave you. Everything on here you have the skills to do. It's just written differently. This is a geometry problem, and geometry is part of your Math 1. This says find the perimeter, so you've got to add up all the sides. The common mistake that's made is that there's just 2 things in the problem, and so we just add the 2 things together. Well, y'all, that's not but 2 sides. There's 2 more sides. You've got to add the 4x plus 3 twice and the 2x plus 5 twice. So the correct answer is B. It is not A. And by the way, on a standardized test, A will be an answer choice to see if they can get you to pick that. And if you didn't notice, if you multiplied, that's an answer choice. They're going to do that to you on a standardized test. They know, y'all, these folks know the mistakes you make, and that's going to be your other answer choices. So y'all got to be good at what you do. Okay, so perimeters, adding them all up. Well, for area, that's a multiplication problem. That's length times width. So this is a 2 by 2 box. So the answer is 8x squared plus 26x plus 15. That last answer is D. How we doing? Good? Okay. All right, everybody come up and get whiteboards, markers, and erasers. Okay, so like I said, most of y'all did an absolute fabulous job on this, okay? Some of the mistakes that I noticed. And by the way, make sure you're on exit ticket A if you're comparing answers. There was 2 different exit tickets. Some of the problems I noticed, y'all, when we go from the boxes, down to the answer, some of y'all are still adding powers. Y'all remember, from here to here, all we're doing is combining any terms we can combine. When we combine, that doesn't make this an x squared. We keep the x, and just add 21 and negative 8 together. So I saw that mistake, okay? Y'all, this right here, again, it's the, how do I say it? This is a common mistake. We got to remember that when we've got a square, it just means you're multiplying it times itself. Because when I put this on a quiz or a test, people throw all my rules out the door and they're like, oh, it's x squared plus 25. Y'all, it's not x squared plus 25. There's more to it. It's a 2x2 box. The mistake I saw here was people made this a negative 25, but a negative times a negative is actually a positive. Any question on exit ticket A? Any question on exit ticket A? Okay. Exit ticket B. Same style of problems, just different numbers. X minus 7 squared means you write it twice. So there you are. I've got some people again, they came down and said 49 and 49. So that means we're trying to multiply again. Y'all, we're not multiplying here. We're just combining to get negative 14x. Any questions on these? Good? Okay. I've got the video running. There are 2 terms up here. We are not worried about negatives. Not worried about negatives and positives. There are 2 terms up here. I want to know what the greatest common factor is. Write it on your board. When you get it, I'll come by and take a look at it. All right, the greatest common factor is 3n raised to the 7th power. You all were correct. All right. Since you guys are so sharp, we're going to go straight to a tricky one. It's not tricky because you can't see. There are 3 terms up here. 4n to the 8th, 5n to the 5th m, and 5n cubed. I want to know what the greatest common factor is of all 3. I get Okay, when you got it on your board, I'll come by and see if you're right.
Yeah.
I haven't given y'all any, well, I've given it to you, but I'm just saying. If you're getting them. Yes. Yes. Abby, no. William, yes.
You told me I forgot something.
Yes. Oh, do we know the answer all of a sudden, Kimberly? That's correct. I said it first. Okay, so 1n cubed or n cubed would be the GCF because m is not in common in all of them. Okay. Looking for the greatest common factor, and there are 3 terms in this problem. Remember, terms are separated by pluses and minuses. There's 3 terms up there. Hey, the greatest common factor. All right, so with the coefficients, we've got a 7, a 21, and a 14. We're not bothering with negative signs. 7 is the greatest common factor of my coefficients. X's, I check to see if they're in all of them. They are. They have to be in all of them to be a common factor. I pick the smallest power. Y's, they're in all of them. I pick the smallest power. 7x squared y to the 3rd is the greatest common factor. Okay, last problem. 3 terms up here. Remember, we're not worried about negatives. For the coefficients, 10, 35, and 50, 5 is the biggest number that'll go into all of those evenly. We check to make sure our variables are in common. For the x's, is there an x in all 3? Sure isn't. Y'all, this last term doesn't have an X in it, so X cannot be a common factor. For the Y's, do they all have Y's? They sure don't. The first term doesn't have a Y. That's your greatest common factor right there.
Where?
5. It's just 5. The variables are not in common.
I got it.